You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people-of-color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only aftershow, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include death of loved ones, grief, mourning, ghosts, funerals, survival and scarcity, heights, descriptions of food, and discussions of the death of children. Arc 4, Episode 32. Say Not Goodbye. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Seir and Lumièra. You exit Tower 19 to find Zinnia, Baegun, and Libra settling in for a meal. The noise of casual conversation drifts over a gentle breeze. This entire time, Baegun and Libra have been asking Zinnia questions about Sunrise. How Cherry met Sochi, what their first mission as a strike team was like together, what Zinnia admired most about Juniper. Here, by the grave markers, past and present meet. A campfire crackles. A real, actual campfire, lined with scavenged stones and fueled by wood from the garden's stores. Rich smoke rises into the sky and vanishes against the lightless underbelly of the empty. Zinnia. As Seir and Lumièra approach the campfire alongside Yinghe, what do they smell from your cooking?
There is a harmony of a variety of different spices. It is stew. It is the smell of stew. In fact, not just stew, it is gumbo. And it is a nice, hearty gumbo. You can smell the different ingredients all mixing together, and it's beautiful and tastes so good. And you know that just by smelling it alone. It's familiar, I think, to Lumièra especially.
There's a hint of a smile. Deep familiarity when Lumièra smells the peppers and onions and all the different fragrances that remind her of Miss Lisa, the one of the cooks at Trans that knows just how she likes her gumbo made. Nobody else knows to make the roux dark but her. The roux's never dark enough whenever someone else makes it. But Miss Lisa, she gets it right every time. So when Lumièra smells that, she can't help, her eye kind of quirks over into the pot, taking a look at what the color of the gumbo is looking like. And when she sees it's just as dark as chocolate, she smiles. A little bit of home outside of it.
I think at seeing the rest of Nova make their way down and out of the tower, Zinnia chimes up, almost more spirited than you've seen her before. I made some dinner for everybody. I thought after a day like today we could use some food, and I happen to know my way around cooking a little bit.
More than me. And Lumièra sits down. She mumbles that quietly, but it's still loud enough for you or anyone close to hear. Nova knows she should be nowhere near a kitchen.
Seir looks at you with like glittering eyes. The food smells amazing, and he kind of like peers similarly over the pot close to you, as if trying to, with his eyes, study and drink in not only the flavors of the food, but also how it is made and cooked.
I have a recipe written down. Got it from, I can make sure you got it. Woman named Miss Lisa, her and her wife Trudy, taught me how to make it when I was younger.
Seir smiles, says, "Please." Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And like there is a small journal that she, I think, produces, and I think it is kind of funny looking at the cover of it, because it is in a much cuter handwriting than you would expect for Zinnia. Definitely a relic of who she is and who she was. Just says Zinnia's cookbook. She hands it to Seir, offers it anyway.
I'll make a copy. Thank you.
Of course. Don't worry about it. Anyway, y'all need to eat. It's been a while, and I think something like this will be nice and hearty for us.
Thank you.
Don't mind if I do.
It smells delicious. And Lumièra, Seir, and Yinghe, they settle in around the fire and help themselves to the gumbo. And for Seir and Lumièra, oh my gosh, it tastes so good. And it tastes like home. Exactly like the Syndicate. Almost like you never left. And Seir, from your pocket, not the one that your oracle is in, but the one that Sunrise's oracle is in, you feel a slight whirring and a feeble but insistent chirping. It wants to be taken out.
All right. Pushes the Sunrise Oracle out. Zinnia?
Yeah.
The
He
oracle
holds out the
rotates
oracle.
on Seir's hand to showcase its lens, cracked but still functional, and swivels it in your direction, Zinnia. And in a faint voice crackling through the static of its oracular speakers, you hear your oracle say, "Greetings, Zinnia. It has been some time."
It is like seeing a ghost. And I think Zinnia stops and doesn't move for a second. She has to process what is in front of her, and like that this is her Sunrise's oracle. This is the final member of Strike Team Sunrise. And she, I think, looks at Seir and says, Can I hold her?
Of course. Hands it over.
I think Zinnia puts it very gingerly in her lap, kind of keeps it close to her as she's sitting there eating. Thank you. And I think she no, not softly. I think she looks to the entire group This little guy, and she says it with like a slight chuckle. Another member of Sunrise. Helped us a lot, and honestly kept that tower going for a lot longer than I think any of us thought was possible. Every one of us were a fighter.
Libra lowers their gaze to look at this droid, this spherical object, this oracle, with deep seriousness and gravitas on their face. And they kind of like lean down so they're eye to eye with the oracle, and they say, "Hey, Sphere. Oracle. Thanks." And that's when Bagoon, looking around at everyone sharing a meal, the best use of resources, yet again, in a place like this, in a time like this. And he begins to sing. Sweet dreams will carry you home. Sweet dreams, no matter where you roam. Softly on little wings, my precious little dove. Forever you return to me, warm by my love. Sweet dreams will carry you home. Sweet dreams, no matter where you roam. And if fate should will one day that we must part, turn your face to sunny skies. I live on in your heart. Sweet dreams will carry you home. Sweet dreams, no matter where you roam. Time now to fly away, my precious little dove. Remember me and don't forget, you will always be loved. Remember me and don't forget, you will always be loved. And as the last note from Bagoon's version of Sochi's song rings out across the fire, a glint from behind him catches your eye, Zinnia. There's something poking out of the now shallow dust by the graves. No, specifically by one of the graves, Cherry's grave. And you see, impossibly, how could you have missed this earlier? But it's there, the corner of her shield, the wind itself, Kesseki itself, Cherry herself, revealing it to you.
Zinnia, there's no grace, there's no elegance in the way that Zinnia moves to grab this. It is like reaching to grab a mirage, and miraculously it is real. She, I think, looks around as if this is a gift from the universe, as if maybe, just maybe, Cherry and the rest of Sunrise are around. And like holds it close to her heart before, I think, trying to wear it, put it on, like hold it as a shield is meant to be held, and for the first time ever, it fits. And I think she looks at it and she knows that's not what it's for anymore. And I think to the people sitting around, I think she manifests from her bag a marker of some sort and offers for everyone to sign it. A sort of makeshift crest of the tears and I think a love letter to Sunrise and Kesseki.
And Zinnia, as you excavate this shield from the shallow dust, fit it against your form, hug it now closely to you. It's not that the shield itself has gotten smaller. You've just grown into it. And seeing these folk sitting around the campfire, sharing stories about those who have passed, about what the world used to be like, what the world still could be like, the shadow of a radio tower. Anyone looking upon this scene would be moved. Anyone looking upon this scene with a heart would feel it beat. Even if that heart stopped pumping blood a long time ago. And that song really does reach someone beyond the signal waves, don't it? Well, Operator 19. Over and out. Xainan. You, Dawn, and Ozalise Raid travel in the skimmer for quite some time, and also no time at all, because Pieta's end had found her. Not but a few days, raptor ride away from the steading, which takes even less time to traverse by hovercraft. And sure enough, soon enough, you can see it on the horizon. The silhouette of your home. And through an unspoken agreement, Ozalise Raid lowers the skimmer safe distance away, parks it. The door opens with a pneumatic hiss. The wind now is quiet, solemn. Dust trickles in, and as each of you exits the vehicle, you first, Xainan, you can see the gate just a dozen feet or so away from you, and you know what lies beyond. You know what you have to do, what you're here for. How do you put boots to ground, sacred ground, for the first time in 10 years?
For some reason, in his mind, he thought it would be loud and suffocating. He even felt echoes of it when we traveled back in the past and everything was fine. And there is a profound relief when that monster that lurks in the back of his memory, the one that he sat alone with for too long, looks like his home. He knows this gate, this road. He knows how many strides it takes to get from this gate to the front porch. It used to be a lot more when he was real small and first counted them. This place. He steps out, one heavy boot, two boots, the boots that he wore here. And it's like they begin to grow roots right then and there. And a shakiness comes over him. It's overwhelming to be here. But it is home.
And you can almost see it as you stand there at the threshold of the gate. The place you grew up in. The shapes in the near distance. The twisting husk of the tree. The frame of the barn. Everything else about it eaten away by waste. Broken fence posts. The house up there. Roof caved in now. Dust on the porch. But there it is. The steading right in front of you. It's almost recognizable. Almost what you remember. And not at all. It is the quiet, yes, the quiet that you notice so alertly. The absence of howling, screaming, vicious wind. That's what you heard the last time you were here when you were alive, of course. In the real way. In a way you haven't been for a while now. Howling wind. Oh, and you remember the dust, how it bit at your clothes, tore at your hair, your skin like fiberglass shards. Like it hated you. Like it wanted to hollow you out and destroy you, Xainan Esch. But now, there's none of that. The only breeze you hear is not a scream, a shriek of vengeance from the revenant of a planet that was killed by mortal hand, but an exhale, long and steady, an exhale of sorrow and relief, anticipation, soft and gentle against your skin. It's quiet. As you look at the echoes that are almost in the right shape, almost the right color, the same form of the steading. What other wound about the dust is eating at you aside from the howling and screaming catastrophe and noise of it all?
There is a wound here that may as well have been the only wound in the entire journey for Xainan Esch. The one he named Kesseki, but had a different name. And it begins to buckle his knees, just thinking about it. But he made his choice. He knows. Because yes, that silence, it is a mercy, but it is also a portent, because time is running out, and this precious thing, this chance, it is fleeting. But he can't move.
But this time, Xainan Esch, unlike the last time you were here and still alive, when it felt like there was no one left in the world but you and her and the dust that wanted to kill you both. But this time, unlike that time. You aren't alone. And it is Ozzel's presence sidling up next to you on one side of you that reminds you of this truth. You are not alone here. And there's Dom, too, on the other side of you. Your steady rock. And Ozzel, one eye swollen and wounded shut by pain, by grief, by a vengeful oath. You can sense Ozzel looking at you with her one good eye. And you can see a similar wound on their face, torn open across their expression. What must be the memories that are swirling through their mind of the last time they were here? Similar to yours, perhaps. Mirrored desolation. And on your other side, looking at Dom's face, Dom, what does Xainan see?
Unlike the other two, Dom wasn't there to see the end of it. This is a place that he hasn't seen since he left, and the stories that were told and ended here are a book he hasn't read yet. And he looks at Lodestar with the eyes of someone seeing a grave he didn't know existed in the shape of a home that used to be there.
And they appear. And suddenly, the man who lost time laying dead in the dust is being haunted by a future. By himself. By his partners. By change. And those roots have nothing to sink into. And it frees him to walk forward to the place that not just duty, not just grief, but a love that existed before Doxa was born, and one that he carries everywhere. Propels him forward to the same tree where he learned that love from his parents.
You and your partners approach Doxa's grave. As you draw closer and closer, what do we see of it? And how is it different from your memory?
Memory is a funny thing. The tree, the one that he watched grow season to season, year to year, it's broken and mostly gone. A tree that he hewed his own parents' gravestones out of. He used to pick up the sticks and throw them. A tree that was as much a part of him as the rest of his family. Shattered, dry, almost completely gone, but there's echoes, remnants left in the dust. You can just see the edges of gravestones, ones that his hands made with love. A goodbye that now feels so kind. kind to him. Because that was a different life, and that Xainan grieved. And in that same way of haunting his own ghostly self, he is here now to grieve the grief that he didn't have a chance to, as he looks to the next grave. Another one that he laid himself less well. He doesn't even fully remember doing it. But even as he lays eyes on it, he hears the song that he sang while he did it. And then there is a fourth grave, a shadow, a twist of profanity that he was not prepared for. There is a void of dust laid there in that place that Artemis showed him, where her antlers loomed over a dead man. And in that way, he never left her. Because here, there are 4 graves.
Like neon blood being revealed by the presence of a radioactive soul. The profane ground where you died assembles more and more shape as you draw closer, harmonizing at the same frequency as the strip of void inside of your spirit. No, not shape of its own. Shape through negative space. It is exactly as you said, it is the dust trickling through the air that catches on the edges of your end that make the end visible. Glowing almost. A golden shadow in the shape of your mortal corpse. And beside it, Doxa.
Upon arrival, he sees this echo. Proof. Like a sound finding the tuning fork that made it. But that isn't why his feet are here, and he cannot walk any closer to it as he falls to the dust on his knees in front of the grave that when he dug it, he could not cry because there was no water left in him. I did what I could. Sprout.
Ozzel does not crumble to their knees. Not yet. They stand beside you. Perfectly still. Briefly for a moment, like they were on the wall of the garden. But it is not bitter, distant rage that roots them to the spot. In this moment, It is the precipice of a question that they have turned over and over and over in their head for 8 long years. A question with an answer they are terrified to look at because they fear that it would finally break their otherwise unbreakable soul. And they say, not with accusation, not with anger, but simply sorrow and the need to know. What happened?
Xainan pulls his hat to his chest. Lets a deep sob escape him. A question that he's wanted to answer for so long. Another hard choice that here now he must provide. Not because they are demanding it of him, but because he loved her, loves her, and loves all of her parents, her family, and her world. We ran out of water. We held on for as long as we could. And then she couldn't hold on anymore. But it was quiet. The only quiet in the whole universe. And as he cries, the dust falls. And we finally see Xainan Esch, who has worn grief for this grave since he started at trans. He hasn't been wearing his grief markings. He is this grief. His face, his body, his soul is marked by this grief. It is a part of him. He'll figure out who he is after this.
Did she
No.
suffer in the... And that is when Ozzel buckles to their knees beside you. Tears streaming out of their eye. Their face twisted in the same way that yours is. Fingers going into the dirt, the dust, holding it, and then letting it loose, flow into the wind. Where are you?
I never left her side. And as he says that, he doesn't look at the shape on the ground that is literally taking his very profane essence and highlighting for the entire journey to see that Xainan Esch has never left this spot.
Azalis Raid lifts their eye. They see your tomb. They see your grave. They see your corpse. And they see your truth. They see the father that never, for even a single second, left the side of his daughter. And even as the tears stream down their face, there is a wondering in their eye. They tilt their head ever so slightly to the side as they see this impossible negative space, this profane golden shadow. They look back at you, and the realization, the understanding that had begun on the top of the wall and strengthened at Piera's grave now crystallizes in its full form in this very moment. And Ozzel says, in wonder, and also simply as a statement of fact, you died.
Yeah. He says so weakly he can barely even hear his own voice. Yes. Should
How does that even work?
there is an infinite everything that is opposite and yet not so different than the nothing, he says as he raises his eyes to the infinite whole that is about to consume our world. And some measure between. I was granted this. And he remembers. Like a high, beautiful voice. The song of every ghost of all of Kesseki. That he heard. That even here now, he can hear it even better than he did in that memory. It is like the dust itself is singing to him, yes. I'm lucky to be something in between. Profane and mortal. Here and dead.
You never left her side. Not once. Every second you were there with her. But I... And Ozzel's head curves down toward their sternum, toward their chest. I left her. I left you.
both of you.
No.
If I had stayed, I could have saved.
They can't even say the last word, but they curve inward with the heaviness of it, the pain of it that they have carried their entire life since their world also ended. The blade, they've pointed inward. The blade, they have tried for so long not to excavate. No. That's something that Osli's raid doesn't believe they deserve. But to at least spear on something else, someone else, anything else that might make it feel just a little bit lighter. And looking at them, Xainan, Dom, you see a parent that can do nothing but blame themselves for what happened to the most important thing in the world to them.
If I'd left earlier, maybe I would have found her. Maybe we'd both have been back. But maybe there'd be two Marcus out there.
Or even more here. And there is like he's been carrying around boulders. Every time either of them speaks, like they're being lifted off of him. Like every word that they say is the same thing he has also said. And it isn't that they are to blame either. It's that neither of them are alone. And he isn't either. Oh. We stayed as long as we could. But that isn't how it went. And neither are you. Being here laid in this dirt was going to change that.
She didn't suffer. And they exhale it like a prayer.
She was with her pa.
And Ozali's raid lifts their head. Up at Dox's grave. And then briefly up at the sky. At oblivion. The nothing. And they lower their eye back down to the mortal world. They say,
And now I know. Now I finally know.
and they look at you.
Thank you.
What?
You made sure that our girl was taken care of. Right up to the end. So thank you for doing what I could.
You don't gotta thank me.
We can anyways. And Dom walks over, puts a hand on your shoulder, the same hand he greeted you with in a less than friendly fashion. Should have known.
And another feeling as he exhales and tears just roll down his face. Almost a luxury now to cry. He feels something else that he heard for the first time not long ago in the shape of a song from Zinnia. Grief for him. Because he never realized that he needed someone to grieve his death too. And in that, again, Doxa is never alone. And he feels the same release that he hears in Ozal's voice, that they went without pain. And here he feels they were not alone because he was with them. Even though it felt like the loneliest place in the entire journey, even more lonely somehow than being in the nothing. But there is sunlight here, as dwindling as it is. And there is joy tucked into every sob and tear, because this tree is also where she used to play. Where they used to sit and have picnics, all of them. And here we are all together. And finally, that sense of together. After an immense amount of time, feels like it passes for him. And maybe it does. Xainan Esch goes looking for the thing that a mortal cannot see. Goes.
They're on the porch. Have been this whole time. Ija. Counting bullets. Sorna. On the rocking chair. Mending something. A scarf, maybe. For winter. Doxa, sitting on the stoop, watching you, watching all of you. Swinging her legs just above the ground.
Hope is a funny thing. Xainan Esch folds it into little things he does and says, in the grief that he carries with him everywhere, there is still hope. And sometimes he fools himself into thinking the wrong thing is the answer, but here and now that hope is a seed that he planted in despair, in a goodbye. Because as he looks to the house, he can still see that there is a floor, and his daughter, the one who helped him get in there, sitting right on that porch. His parents. Oh, right where they ought to be, in their home. And he lets out a heavy exhale. I got something to look after.
There's something I need to do too.
It's 3 of us.
Xainan puts his hand on Doxa's parents. Gives a nod to the fourth that isn't here. Straightens himself up. Shakes the dust off of his hat. And writes it and gives his Ema a nod as he does. And he walks towards the house, looking for a bag that hope against hope might be there.
As the 3 of you make your way to the steading, going up the porch, opening up the front door, Doxa follows you inside, weaving between your legs, like she always does. Like she did. Ozzel makes their way toward a room in the back of the house. Dom, too, goes to a different place. But you, Xainan Esch, what you're looking for is right here. Dining room, living room combined. And Doxa lingers by your side. Because this ghost girl, she remembers.
With a knowing smile, Xainan Esch crouches down into the dirt, pushing aside dry wood, cracked and easy to move now that time, a decade of time, has weathered this place down to splinters. And just hoping beyond hope, that buried underneath his feet, even in his own despair, the Xainan that would see tomorrow and die here and one day meet Artemis, that underneath his feet was a seed of hope.
The desiccated floorboard gives way underneath your fingers without much resistance. There's some dust that's piled up underneath that you have to clear with your hands, searching with mortal intention, sifting, and then your fingers catch on something. The edge of a satchel. It's there, drenched in dust, and as you pull it out of the grains, it's not all there. It looks less full than you remember from 10 years ago, from 8 days ago. But there are still things inside. There's still weight. And as you open up the twine and you peer into the pouch, you see half the seeds are still there. Miraculously, they haven't crumbled into dust. They haven't been scavenged or eaten by creatures or people. They're there. The other half, well, those are gone. But in their place, you see an old, crumpled up, small strip of paper.
Huh. And he curiously takes it out after examining seeds that were only a few days ago in his hand and whole, fresh off of the harvest, but also they have been down there for so long. But the paper is new and unfamiliar. He pulls it out to read. Look. Hope. Look to it with hope. What is it?
You uncrumple it, and you see, etched into the paper with old ink now, partly faded but still legible in a slightly shaky hand, the following words. We know these are for planting, but we needed to eat them. Gave us the energy to keep going over the next hill. Thanks. And best of luck. From a person you don't know and never will, who needed to get somewhere you'll never find out. And the ultimate outcome of their journey will remain forever a mystery to you. But the truth and proof of the hope you planted and seeded is right there between your fingers, etched in ink.
And he smiles. But that smile quickly turns into a grin, not for himself, but he turns the paper around to show the writing to his ghost girl. Look what we did.
You can sense her close to you, leaning in, reading the words. You can feel her smile, not just on her ghostly face, but in your soul, you feel her smile. Hope, warmth, blooms inside the dust of her spirit. A sprout, rising impossibly from death, life.
And he takes that hope, that letter, and he folds it into his coat to carry forward. His sprout, his seeds, and someone having a tomorrow.
You did this together. Two ghosts. Father and a daughter. Forever step in step. Never apart. Not even for a second.
He spends... Go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
He spends so long just standing there, staring in awe, in gratitude, not only for this time, but the time that was just expended here. An impossible thing inside an impossible thing. Both visions, not fractured apart, but one. His mortal eyes, his ghost eyes, memory, joy, and grief.
Xainan, when you're finally ready, and you head back out the way you came, toward the porch, halfway sunken by dust, but still possessed of so much memory. You pan into the kitchen and see Dom do what he knows he has to do. Dom, what memories and hope do you excavate from the dust here?
For the longest time, he's been alone. And it's harder to do things for yourself when you're alone if you don't really care. But he's here now in a kitchen. He's, to be fair, loaned out for decades. And it would be so very disrespectful to the person who let him use it, who graciously agreed to let him into this space. If now that he's not alone anymore, he didn't care. So Dom walks through the kitchen looking. And it's not that he needs to know where it is, because hell, even when he's gone, he knows Xainan's never going to put it where it never belongs. It'll always go back where it is. And he finds on the wall, hanging from a hook, an old, deeply pitted, rusted cast iron skillet. And runs a finger along the metal. Oh no, can't let you stay like this, can we? Takes it. And as he turns, sees chewed through by dust and half-eaten by time, a strip of metal with a bit of wood still clinging to it. Yeah, you're coming too. And he grabs a knife he inherited, and that he would slap away whenever Pyrrha or Ozzel or even Xainan tried to use it. And though he can't see ghosts, Dom looks at this kitchen where his family used to eat. Sorry I couldn't give it to you, wild card. I gotta hold on to it for a little longer. And he turns and leaves.
Ozzel's raid is standing in the bedroom of their daughter, looking at the empty spaces where she used to sleep, used to read, used to practice her letters, used to slam the door too when she got mad. Didn't really start happening until she got older. There's a moment as they stand there at the door frame, withered away, the door off its hinges, has been for a while now, knocked astray by wind or an animal or who knows what. There's a moment as they stand there and they are terrified of setting foot inside. But they think of the man that stayed by their daughter's side until the very end. Until the end found him too. And the terror subsides. They take a step inside. And they say out loud to a ghost they don't know is there, but they can sense and have been able to for 8 years in their own way.
Got a present for you. It's from your godparent. Godmother, really. You would have liked her. And I think you'll like this.
And Oslis Raid pulls out the book from Zinnia and places it on what remains of the bed. And they sit there for a while, though they can't see her. Doxa sits beside them too, a ghostly hand on the cover of the book, over the back of the hand of their parent. On your way out of the steading, Xainan, Dom close behind you, you notice that Isha and Sorna's ghosts, they're not on the porch anymore. They're up ahead, some ways away, down the path, by the gate, really. And both of them are looking down at something on the ground before they raise their gazes at you. They want to show you something.
Xainan Esch can always go wherever his parents ask him to go, even if he's fought and yelled and resisted. But there they are. And how can he say no? So his feet cross those very few yards to the gate. And he looks down at what they're looking at. Huh.
It's a flagstone. Not just any flagstone that used to comprise the path from the gate up to the house. It's the flagstone, the very first one, directly in front of the gate. You can see it peering up through a thin layer of dust. Gods beat to all hell. Eroded by wind and weather and time and apocalypse. Eroded, scarred, but it's still there, still intact.
He leans over, dusts it off, just kind of to see what they might be looking at. He takes it in. He remembers that these are not very heavy, but also that this had been sat here since before he could remember. The first stone, like a keystone in setting an arch. That mark of home. And his ma always paid it with such regard. She moved every damn stone off of every road except for this one. So he leans down to look at it, pops it up, furious. Maybe he could carry it.
The dust that secures it in place easily crumbles away as you sift your fingers between the crack and you lift it up. And unlike the surface of the flagstone, the back of it is smooth, perfectly preserved. But that's not all. There's a set of handprints on it. You recognize them instantly. One of the hands belongs to Isha, and the other one right next to it, Sorna. And there's a third one too in the middle. A small one. Fingers splayed wide in the shape of a star. It's your handprint, Xainan Esch. From when you were a child.
He lays his hand on it and looks to both of them. This stone, in this moment, feels like the heart of a place that never died. And he lays his hand where his tiny hand once was. The star of the lodestar setting. The place that they always said they got to raise him, where everything would be just how they wanted it. And that joy never died. Not really. He holds this stone and pulls it close to his chest, and it's almost like he can feel that heartbeat. He sees his parents, his daughter, the roof that raised him, the tree that isn't there, the stables, the pathways, the fields where his hand is as much that dirt as it is anything else. And all of this, too, is Kesseki. And in that thought, he knows what must come next. And having gratitude for time and small miracles only softens that blow a little. Because to do something for mercy, to let Kesseki go, so that the next planet in the Apis Fuyumi system is not also consumed by oblivion, it doesn't have to hurt less. And he waits for the others to finish what they must do. Watches the dust dance around a tree and fill a profane shape that he will not forget. But here he is, the herald of endings. And even this, there is an ending thrumming in the heartbeat, in the grief, and in the joy of the lodestar setting.
At the garden. Close. At the garden, by the southern gate, the tears of Fuyumi and Strike Team Nova wait anxiously. Libra, Dunnan peering through the scope of their rifle, fixing it on the southern horizon, muttering to themselves, oh, come on, assholes. And far beyond the northern walls, we can see the shuttle, the last glass tail, standing tall, ready for departure. But not everyone is back yet. Not quite. For Azalis, Raid, Dom, and Xainan Esch have not yet returned from their excursion. And it's not helping Libra's nerves that Jack keeps leaning in and demanding an update, and Begoun keeps pacing, and Saral is nervously checking between their notes and then scanning the north and then back at Libra and then checking their notes again. And finally, Libra lets out a shit, fuck, okay, yeah, they're here, motherfuckers. All right, everyone, they're here. And sure enough, we see the skimmer crest over the southern desiccated wasteland and head kicking up a tailwind of plumes of dust behind it. And as soon as the last members of the shuttle crew are spotted, the group gathered by the southern gates kick into high gear, into action, because it's time. And as the skimmer approaches the south wall, we push in on the group gathered here to find each of you, awaiting Xainan, Ozzel, and Dom's return. Finally, the skimmer arrives. It skids off to the side, doors open, and the three of them come out. Seir, Lumièra, you see Xainan. Yinka lets out a, oh, thank goodness, as he comes out.
Time.
Lumièra lets out a breath of relief that she didn't really know she was holding until she sees Xainan whole, stepping out unharmed.
He has a stone under his arm. And he looks both heavier in that and lighter.
We cut now to the launch site itself. There are still a few people milling about the open doors and gates of the shuttle itself. And then there are, of course, the folk who will be staying behind. Smisha Erebor, Dr. Wu, several of the other residents of the garden, most of them elders. And there is a departure committee, essentially, comprised by them. And one by one, as the last of the tiers start boarding the shuttle again, there's a moment here, by the doors, for all of you to take stock, give your final looks at the planet, before you two set foot into the last glass tail. Let's start with you, Seir. Here at the launch site, who are you trying to find?
There's only one person I'm trying to find. A little shadow. My cricket.
Bug is standing by Nose Mama, which is to say, both of them are a ways off from the shuttle itself. Nose Mama with her head on the ground, the dust swirling about her horn as usual, completely nonplussed and undisturbed by the huge, massive object in front of her, and the hustle and bustle of dozens of people around her. And Bug is decidedly, has its back turned to you and is quite literally kicking rocks.
Seir waits. This is a choice that Bug has to make. And as he waits by the shuttle, just as he promised them, that he would be there until they were ready to make that choice. Pick this up or to not. Whatever choice that it ends up making, even if it hurts, even if it's difficult, he will accept it.
It senses you, looking at it, turns, and you see on its face, yeah, it's still mad. Of course it's still mad. It's still hurt. But it hasn't made a choice yet. They're torn. They're not decidedly staying here, but they're also not decidedly going. And they look between you and the shuttle and Nose Mama, and you see that they're mad, and there's that adolescent pride that's eating at them, gnawing at them, refusing to let them just do what they know you want them to do, even though it might be the right decision, but they don't want to do what you think is right, even though it might actually be what's good for them. And then in the midst of all of this internal, Nose Mama lets out a and ponderously lifts up onto all 6 of her limbs. Lets that big, bulbous, nubbin-like tail swing and shake off some of the dust. And before Bug can say, Nose Mama, what are you? There's a as she approaches the shuttle gates. And whoever still left is milling about there, they get out of the way as this massive lizard just inside. With a turn of the head as she enters the foyer and curves around to look outside at Bug, as though saying to her child, "Are you coming?" And Bug lets out a, "But I wasn't, fine. Whatever, I guess." And they run forward and follow Nose Mama in. And they give you one final look. That is, yes, still mad, still hurt. But it's not so scalding anymore as it was the last time you spoke to them. There's something in their eyes that gives you hope. That maybe, this is a gap you can bridge.
Good to have you back, Cricket.
Seir, as you board, we pan across the gathered folks to find Lumièra.
Lumièra is heavy. Every limb on her feels like it's bolted to the ground. But at the same time, it's like a weight has lifted. Kesseki may not stand as it is, as we know it, as we remember it. But she will live. She will move forward, not just in the hearts of us, but in the hearts of every single person that sits on this shuttle. Sometimes grief lives in the memory of people who hold it. And it's the responsibility of those people to carry it. And to move it forward into a spot where people have no chance but not to remember it. They don't get a chance to forget it. She meant what she said at Tower 19. Kesseki will live as long as she breathes, just like Tungal. And she won't forget the sacrifice of the tears of the people that did everything that they could to make sure that Kesseki was just as important as the rest of us, the rest of everything. She looks at Nova. And looks at what's left. It's a bittersweet pill to swallow. It's even more bittersweet to know that just the little bit of time that they had was cut on behalf of her, but that's not her focus right now. Her focus is the future and making sure whatever's left of both of the places that she can call her home. That's laid, the grounds that are laid with the people that she loves, the ancestors that she venerates, people that came before her. It's her responsibility now that she carries it like a weight on her chest, like a responsibility that needs to be held, right? No, it's more than that. It's their love. It's their memory. It's their safety, their knowledge, their presence, their threads in the journey. Those can't, no. They won't be erased. Those things will live and they will stay on. So she wipes her face, because she's learned more about herself here than probably any place else that she's stumbled across at this point. And she looks at Xainan. That hurt, those feelings of animosity still there, but she knows the root of where that uncomfortableness lies. And in that moment, she realizes something I think that's the biggest part of any adult that is growing up, that is looking at the people that have raised them, per se, their parental figures. She realizes that Xainan's not a superhero. He's not an all-encompassing being that has all the answers and does everything right. Xainan is just human. He's a person, just like me, just like Seir, just like Yinghe. And people are allowed to make mistakes. People are allowed to grow. People are allowed to change. And in that moment, she sees Xainan just exactly for who he is. Whole. Flawed. But at the core of all of this is love. Love for his family, love for the people he's lost. But at the same time, love for the people that he's found. And I just happen to be one of those lucky people.
Lumièra, you board the shuttle. Cai K close behind you, resting one final hand on the hull of the glass tail. She looks at Kesseki, this place that has taught her so much. Turns her gaze back into the shuttle, toward the future, toward the spirits and hopes of Kesseki that reside within it. And she too boards. As for the tears of Fuyumi, the farewell party lingers by the doors. Of course, Dr. Wu, Samishi, other folks staying behind, seeing you all off. And the bulk of the goodbyes with Dr. Wu have already happened over the course of this week. All that's left is the final farewell. And each member of the tears shakes her hand, hugs her, smiles of tears brimming in their eyes, but also understanding. And there's a moment between Ozzel and Dr. Wu in particular, where Ozzel's raid pauses by Yvonne, and they seem to struggle with their words. There's something that they want to express, so many things they want to express, and never really got the opportunity to. That so much passes between them in just a look. Gratitude, an apology, sorrow, understanding. And finally, Ozzel's raid says, "I'll see you in the stars." And Dr. Wu replies, "I'll be waiting." Zinnia, you also have a chance to give a final moment, brief goodbye to Dr. Wu, though everything that has been needed to share has already been shared.
I think there's only a hug and a whisper of something that not even us are privy to. And she steps onto the ship. I think she, in moving through the ship, she reaches for Libra's hand, squeezes it 3 times, and goes to find Jack.
Libra squeezes back, and you find Jack, of course, in the bridge console room. She's waiting for you. And as soon as you enter and the doors swish shut behind you, Jack's all business. They have 1,000 hats going on at once. They are both mechanic, engineer, and pilot. And Ta says, "Oh, okay, there you are. Look, avionics are hot, systems nominal, just need the nav array. You mentioned there was something at the tower, so..."
Yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but I need 1 second.
Okay.
And I think Zinnia reaches into her pocket, not dissimilar from how Seir has a tendency to do it, and pulls out the oracle, the sunrise oracle, and puts it close to her heart real quick, presses her forehead against it, and whispers, "Thank you so much for everything you have done and everything you are about to do. I love you."
There's a small affirmative chirp in response from the Sunrise Oracle, and it glows 3 times in response to "I love you." As you're reaching for the nav array socket of the console. The other oracle that had insisted to be passed from Seir's pocket to yours during the boarding process chirps in your other pocket, and Nova's oracle goes,
Plug me in too! I want to help! I have auxiliary power systems!
Of course. I gotcha. And Zinnia follows its instructions. It's a bossy little circle.
Sunrise's oracle gets plugged into the central socket, and there's a as systems start to come online and fields populate with nav arrays and possible trajectories to map your destination. And as Nova's oracle gets plugged into a secondary socket, kind of like under the desk, you know what I mean, like underneath the desk, it lets out a
whee! Oh wow, all the systems are coming online. I feel it, the power coursing through me, and also into the ship. We're finally here, sister. One last trip to the stars. And then you can rest. But don't worry, it's not scary. I'll be there with you. Every step.
Dom, as you board the glass tail, Tamina's there by the entrance, looking at you. This woman who never thought she'd be boarding a shuttle off this place after everything she said to you in the bridge. And as you come on, she holds out a hand for you to shake.
Yeah. Dom looks at a hand extended. What is with the handshakes these days? Something magical in them, I guess. But he shakes her hand.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Bet you feel kind of silly, huh?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I do. Feel silly standing here after that big speech I gave you up in the bridge, but
It was a good one.
in my defense, I had no idea I'd find her here. And she jerks her head toward her sister, Kari,
Yeah.
who's currently in the middle of like helping people get to the places they need to go to get ready for launch. But honestly, I'd suffer that embarrassment and humiliation 1,000 times over. It meant I got to see her again. All I really wanted was to be with her. Since she's here, well, I'm gonna show her what we've built.
Yeah. Sounds like I'm gonna have to put you to work then if you want to show her the tour.
Sounds like we're gonna have to talk about me getting a raise. And you and Tamina
All right.
walk to your spots upon the shuttle. And now we pan out to the last person to board the glass tail, Xainan Esch.
Xainan stands at the gate, looking over his home. How desiccated, how gray it all looks. Since his return from the Lodestar, he's let his scarf stay unwrapped. He's taken off just small bits of protection because he doesn't need to hide from this Kesseki anymore. And so the wraps, all of those little things that Xainan Esch has worn, even in artifact from a memory at Trans, in some form, has lingered on him. And we see him standing at the gates of the garden, holding the goggles that he's been wearing around his neck since we got here, swinging them idly around his finger. And then he just lobs them into the dust. Those are the goggles that he died in. The man that died has a grave here, next to his daughter, in the dirt that he knew that one day he would be buried in. Now, Xainan Esch, the mortal profane, agent of Trans, member of Strike Team Nova. Father, still, stands at the gate. He salutes with his hat to Samishi Erebor. There are no more words to say to her, just ending and respect. So he inclines his hat to an echo of a man, but she had so much to give, and we are going to take it with us. This ship, her research, and all of the time that she bought every other person on that ship, including us. Samishi Erebor is Kesseki, and we are taking that spirit with us. He takes
She
stock.
returns your salute with a look and a nod.
He takes stock of everyone staying with respect and love. He wishes them nothing but the ending that they seek. The one with the dirt and the bones, the very soil that is ours. His family boards the shuttle, and he does not worry where they will be tomorrow. He knows where they'll be. Right next to him. Even Lumièra. And Xainan Esch lets out a high whistle over the wind of a flock tender to call the ghosts home with him. And not in pain and not in death. Xainan Esch's boots, the ones that came here in a crash and calamity, step onto a ship so that Kesseki may live.
And the ghosts, dozens, thousands, millions of them. But a ghost doesn't weigh anything. The ghosts follow you aboard the shuttle, and the gate closes. There is a great heaving roar as the engines ignite and the shuttle prepares for launch. Plumes of dust billow outward from those whining, shaking thrusters now turning cherry red. The chassis shudders. The heady stink of exhaust expands. The shuttle begins to rise. Slowly, it feels at first, an unsteady bantam bird testing her wings. And then the shuttle goes up, 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 faster, stronger, blasting waves of shimmering, gasping, molten heat in a massive radius. Inside the last glass tail, in a chamber none of us can see, the heart of the fusion reactor burns hotter than the center of the suns. There it goes. Up, up, higher and higher, a gleaming streak of metal and flame, its propulsion so powerful that it clears a mile-wide haze of dust around the garden. And for just a moment, the people on the surface and the people in the air can see the entire world unclouded. You came here to save Kesseki. And you did. Not in the way you expected, not in the way you wanted, but in the way Kesseki needed. Its salvation lies not in the annihilation of its grief, but in receiving its ghosts with open arms. Kesseki is a place. Kesseki is a people. Kesseki is the memories of those people. And Seir, Lumièra, both of you are now a part of this story, in your own way. As the last glass tail rises toward ancestral stars that she hasn't seen in 10 years, What one final thought crosses your mind? Let's start with you, Seir.
Whatever the future holds, I'm not afraid. Whatever I have in the future, I am not afraid.
What about you, Lumièra?
You may not understand it now, but you will. And it will be worth it.
Zinnia. The story of Kesseki has been intertwined with yours for a long time now. What one final thought crosses your mind?
It is less of a thought and more of lyrics. It is the rendition of a song that Zinnia has only heard 2 other times. The song of when Sunrise won, when they succeeded. It plays for the last time in over 10 years. And she smiles.
Dom, you've been a part of Kesseki's story from the very beginning of your own. What one final thought crosses your mind?
All right, Firefly, you led me home. It's our turn to take you up.
This is the end to one journey, but the beginning of another. The work is not over. Kesseki still needs you. But that's a story for a later time. For now, the last glass-tail ascends through the atmosphere, carrying the only home she's ever known, close to her heart. As she watches the shuttle rise, a final thought crosses Samishi Ereber's mind. Beside her, her own glass tail bobs in the tailwind of the takeoff, and Dr. Wu hugs close the urn containing her husband's ashes. And Samishi Ereber can't help but think to herself that the light of the exhaust plume, now just a tiny spark against void, looks like the last Firefly leaving Kesseki. Xainan Esch, what's your story?
Xainan looks to Kesseki, and the only thought he can think is, I will be here tomorrow. And the truth is, I didn't grieve her at all. I don't know if I even have done now. You know, that second twilight just before the Momonoi cluster came into view and the whole sky would open their eyes to watch us, that's when I knew her best. The cicadas and frogs and night birds would begin their evening song. The fireflies would skip off the tall purple grass, lighting the fields that my parents gave everything for to give us a good life. And it was a good life, filled with hard work. But it wasn't just the food, the dirt we earned under our nails, or even the times of plenty. They were the only home I ever had, and I thought I was alone in that. And Kesseki, it turns out, is much bigger. I didn't know that north of Haruna there was an incredible bridge built on pillars to the sky on the Isthmus of Chisare. That the Hofu Mountains were filled with rolling forests where you might see a northern bantam hawk. And Hanae Bay, where pearl miners scrape together lives just like the rest of us. That in all of these places was someone else's Haruna. Their whole world. When you stitch them all together, Saral, my story, yours, Samishi's, Bug, Jack, Dom, Ozzel, Zinnia, Libra, Stovall, everybody, that's Kesseki. Our world of dust. Our world of green. And Haruna was mine. My Kesseki. Yeah. I guess if I'm gonna tell you this story, I should start somewhere. My name is Xainan Esch, and my bones are made of the grief of a dead world. And when Kesseki goes to oblivion, it will not all be gone because I carry her in my lungs, my eyes, my fingernails, and my scars. I am Kesseki, and I am not alone.
And we're gonna end the arc there.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to the grand finale of Arc 4. What a finale! This has been one hell of a journey, and I truly could not have asked for a better cast or crew to tell this story with. I have so much more to say, but before we get there, I know it is so late and we are so tired. That was so much, but what a good ride. I would love for my cast to introduce themselves one last time for Arc 4. Let's save our guests for last. So, Val, take it away.
Hi, folks. I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am the son of Jacob George, who is memorialized at the top of the string. I had the distinct pleasure of playing Seir, who uses he, they pronouns, who is the son of Doom, and who carries Kesseki with him. And with that, I'm going to pass it on over to the Kessekian of the hour. Okay?
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. You can find me everywhere as a Stella Ladris. Thank you all for this arc, for your grief and love. It has been the honor of a lifetime to play the echo of my ancestors, Mr. Xainan Esch. I'm passing it over to Samm.
I am Samstar. I use she, they, and the occasional Fae pronouns. I am the best friend of Malia Lowell, the person who we have been raising money in memory of for crisis services. This means so much to me. And I am the daughter of Corwin Spearman, my best friend and the only man in my life I will ever love. I pass it to Val.
Val.
Damn.
Just,
Did
it's
Val
okay.
do it already?
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'll pass
okay,
it to our
baby.
guests.
You're perfect.
Take it away,
I'll
Ria.
pass
Take it
to
away,
our
Ria.
guests. Go to Ryo.
Okay. Hey, I am John and or Ryo. I use any, all, and whatever pronoun you're thinking of right now. And it has been my absolute pleasure to let Dom take a nap now. It's been a lot of fun being on this trip with all y'all. And I think it's about time both he and I look in the stars a bit. That's a 2 dare.
Hey, hi, hey, hello, everybody. My name is Dare, pronounced she, they, they, and it. I am the older sister of Dexter Savage Jr. I love you, buddy. It's been an honor to play Zinnia. It's been an honor to be a part of this arc. It means more to me than I could possibly express, and there's an honest-to-God part of me that was, I don't know, afraid I wouldn't be good enough to hold my weight, and I am so glad that everyone at this table pushed me to be my best self, and I love all of you so much, and I love everyone watching so much. Thank you, once again. Take it,
We
boss.
love you too, Dare. I will take it as the boss. Whew. Thank you all for tuning into Arc 4. This has been a very special and personal story for all of us. And I am extremely grateful that we got to weave this narrative of grief, hope, and survival hand in hand with each other. This has been a challenging arc, not because of the arc itself and the storytelling process, but because of the unpredictable difficulties of real life that have impacted everyone on this cast throughout the course of the season. In the process of producing Arc 4, all of us have been affected in one way or another by the loss of family members and or loved ones, health complications, extended out-of-state and or international travel, and or general major changes in our lives, careers, etc. The resonance of the core themes of Arc 4 within the details of our shared real lives is not lost on me. As they say, life imitates art, and vice versa. And just like the characters that we portray and the storylines that we have incubated, explored, and laid to rest, but have also ushered in new beginnings for Arc 4. My wonderful cast and I have found ourselves facing incredible challenges, grief, pain, stress, turmoil, yes, in real life. And yet, we survive. And yet, we are still here, together. The act of working together as a cast and crew to tell the story of Kesseki has been deeply grounding. I feel as though I'm able to say for all of us in this call in one way or another. I've always strongly believed that making art is not a luxury, it is not a frivolity, it is also a form of survival. As we have explored through Arc 4, grief and suffering as concepts in and of themselves, as natural mortal experiences, are not boogeymen to be vanquished forever or erased from existence, but because to do so would be to erase the love, joy, and meaning that they also necessarily bring to our lives. As Strike Team Nova and the Tears of Fuyumi take to the stars, they know that the end is inevitable for the planet that they call home. But Kesseki also lives on in the hearts and memories of her people. So long as her descendants continue to remember her ghosts and sing her songs, Kesseki can never die. In this way, Arc 4 is about the deep grief and also the deep joy of living in diaspora. All of us on this cast belong to the diaspora of one or more communities in one way or another, with many varying relationships to history, ancestry, power. Making art
singing and dancing, telling our stories with each other, archiving our memories, fighting for a world that we know can exist and is already here in so many ways inside of us. All of these are acts of connecting with our motherlands, the people that we love and mourn, and acts of flinging light into the future. With Arc 4, we proclaim that a diasporic life, that a life with grief, a life with loss, with all of its scars and all of the loves that those scars are proof of, is a life worth living. Whew. All right, friends. We are diving headfirst into the unknown future. But first, in terms of what's next for the channel, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break between arcs. And one of us, at the very least, needs to make an international move. So lots of big things happening. Yay, Val! Producing a live show to this degree of narrative complexity and cohesion and depth and emotion, especially as they resonate with real-life losses that we are experiencing, is, of course, a titanic amount of work, and a big investment, emotionally and otherwise. So we are going to be in hiatus until we are ready to return with Arc 5 in late 2026, so later this year, ideally. But never fear, that doesn't mean we're completely going to be frozen. There will be plenty of ways for us to still connect with each other in the Transplaner community and still stay active in some ways. For instance, there is the upcoming anniversary zine release and upcoming cast Q&A retrospective, post-mortem, if you will, of Arc 4, and I'm sure other community events of that similar nature. So, thank you all again so much for tuning into Arc 4 of the Chaos Protocol. It has been an absolute fucking honor to share this season alongside Cai, Samm, Val, Dare, Jon, and C, as well as our incredible stream mods, Jordan and Keith, our podcast editor, Mars Ewing. I'd also like to thank our character artist, Alicia Doyley, aka Atal and Quirky, for her incredible work on our character art, as well as Alice Robin Torkar and the 12-Sided Studios team for working on our incredible animated trailer for Kesseki. What all of you have witnessed here is an immense labor of time, energy, money, resources, and love. We could not make this art without the very significant contributions of each and every single person behind, on, and beyond the screen, including all of you, as our incredible and amazing audience. As always, you can continue to support our show in the off-season by joining and participating in our Discord, pledging to our Patreon, making fanworks if you are so inclined, posting about Transplaner on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast, buying merch from our merch store, and most importantly, telling someone else about us. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barista, tell your dog, your cat, your last glass-tail butterfly. Thank you so much, Transplanerds. See you for our next journey. Hello, Transplanerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies.
This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.